And look, I'm gonna just keep it 100. It's no time limit on get back. When it comes to our ancestors, it's no time limit when they get revenge. And see, our ancestors went through a lot. You had rebellions like the Nat Turner Rebellion, and you had the Louisiana Slave Revolt Rebellion in 1811. So our people fought back. And there were many more rebellions that they don't tell us about. We don't learn about, but there was many more. And see, the ancestors would never let these people live peacefully because you owe our people. You owe a debt to our people. You owe us reparations in some way. And I know we're not going to get it in money, so they're going to get it through nature. And we've seen the same things happen in Tennessee, North Carolina, in Florida, through nature. And look, this whole story is going to trip you out because it recently happened, a flood in Spain. But let's take a trip back to the past. Yes, Spain had enslaved black people in Louisiana during the Spanish colonial period. When France seceded Louisiana to Spain in 1763, there were 46,000 enslaved Africans in the colony. The majority of the population was of African origin. See, Spain controlled Louisiana from 1763 to 1803. And my question is, what made them think their people were better than our people because of the color of their skin? See, people think they can have this history and they don't talk about it and they can just move on with life, building their pretty buildings, talking about their great history, talking about everything they won, but never telling the real truth. Thinking they can go through life without paying their debts to our people, to our ancestors. And then I did my research and I was just wondering, how did they treat our people when we were slaves? The physical conditions and treatments of slaves was terrible. Mud huts, no clothes, beatings, whippings, the stocks. The use of physical violence wasn't just for punishing, but to enforce authority and control. So you gotta sit back and think. These people, and I know it's a long time and a lot of people can't connect to this, but just imagine your ancestors connected to you. These people use psychological games to trap them, psychological games to control them. And they think they can just go on with life. They think they can just go on with generations and generations telling their kids, okay, this is your grandfather's. But they don't tell them the real truth, how they held our people back, how they had to use the army to control our people to force us into slavery. But like I told y'all, there was always rebellion. So don't think that our people just laid down. No, it was always rebellion. And we're about to see this right now. Enslaved people played a vital role in the construction of the St. Louis Cathedral in New Orleans. It's the oldest Catholic cathedral in the U.S. that's still in use. Originally built in 1727, but rebuilt after the Great Fire of 1794. While there is no definitive proof, historians suspect that enslaved people may have been responsible for the Great Fire of 1794 in New Orleans, as the city had large slave population and fires were sometimes used as a form of rebellion against their slave masters. Intentional arson. So I know a lot of people on this channel, y'all went to New Orleans before, but look, they'll never tell you this part of history. They'll never tell you about the rebellions. They ain't gonna tell you in school, or they won't tell you on these New Orleans tours. And you gotta think about it. Most of these people that's doing these New Orleans tours, they're not from New Orleans. They might try to sound like it. They might try to act like it because, you know, the culture is so strong, but they're not even from New Orleans. So they'll never tell you the truth. They're going to tell you what you want to hear so you can keep spending your money, so you can keep giving them tips. So today, when you see riots and you see marches and they telling people, stop burning up the building, stop. No, this been happening in the 1700s. Our ancestors been doing this as a form of rebellion. So now let's fast forward to yesterday, Friday. Spain floods latest. Number of people unalived rises to at least 205. Former Valencia footballer among the dead. Rescue teams are searching for survivors and bodies after flash flooding swept through large areas of Spain. Following a year's worth of rain in one day, at least 205 people have died. Mostly Valencia region, according to local authorities. Now, all this is going to make sense in a little while. Right now, we're in Spain, where the flood happened yesterday. So you telling me a flood, a year's worth of rain happened in one day? A year's worth of rain in one day. And you telling me that's a coincidence? I'm telling you, at one point, the whole world that affected our people, that used our people for slaves, that put our people in trees, that did crazy things to them, they gonna have to pay. And either the reparations gonna be with money or it's gonna be with nature. And with nature, ain't no sympathy. So remember earlier where I told you about when Spain was in Louisiana. But yes, Spain had slaves also. In Valencia, Spain, they had slaves. And not just had slaves, our people did labor. Our ancestors did labor in Valencia, Spain. So most of that architect they love to show off when you come to Spain, that history, our people built that. But they'll never talk about that. The tour guides will never tell you that. As anger grows at the government for what some perceive to be a lack of support from the government, a regional MP has accused those of power of criminal mismanagement. The citizens, the people had to go down there and save people out of the flood because the emergency services couldn't get to them or they wouldn't even try. So do y'all remember when that hurricane, I think it was Hurricane Helene, and she affected Tennessee, Asheville, North Carolina, parts of North Carolina, and Florida. Y'all remember those people? They still crying on TikTok. Just go on TikTok. They say the government not helping them, the government not giving them FEMA, all that stuff. They going through the same thing. So you think this is a coincidence? They going through the same exact thing. With this kind of damage, the government can't help you. They won't help you because there's too much money and they need to get that money back. They need to have a way to get that money back. And it's too much money to put into it. And they said the death toll is expected to rise. And I said, damn, this is just like what happened in North Carolina. They using the same words, the people saying the same thing that they were saying in North Carolina, Tennessee, and in Florida. And this was the crazy part. They said they had to use a courthouse as a temporary morgue. It was so many unalived people, they had to use a courthouse for a morgue. And look, when the news station tell you it's 205 people that's unalive, no, you got to double that. Sometimes you got to triple that. They ain't going to never tell you the right number because they don't know the right number. They said it's at least 1,300 people unaccounted for. Then I remember how they treated our ancestors. They had our ancestors living in mud huts. Then I saw an article saying that it was some people actually suffocated under mud. You think that's a coincidence? And like I said, this is only the beginning because they think they can manipulate us. They think they can create all these things to hold black people back. Slavery, build ghettos, projects, and then blame us for the conditions. And like I said, the ancestors are going to keep spinning and spinning and spinning. This is only the beginning. Because you got to look at it. These people know their history. They know they still don't, in Spain, they still don't like black people. They still hate us. But look, let me talk to y'all. Your money, your material stuff, your lifestyle, your status, it means nothing because you will never have true peace because you owe our people reparations. I'm out.